Unless you are living under a rock, you know the real estate market is currently on fire. If you've ever given any thought at all to selling your home, this is an incredible time to do it. We are definitely in a seller's market, but there are still a few things that you're going to want to keep in mind as you get ready to list your house. Hi, I'm Sarah Maslowski. I am a local real estate agent and team leader here in the Northeast Metro Atlanta area, and I have a ton of people reaching out to me to relocate here to the area, but I also help clients sell their homes here too. I am a matchmaker. Today, I thought we would talk about selling your home here in Georgia, and even if you aren't located in Georgia, these tips are pretty universal and will help you sell your home when getting ready to move across the country. So first things first, the thing that you need to know about selling right now in this market is that the seller pays the real estate commission. When you hire an agent to get your home sold, you are going to pay them a percentage of the earnings on the home. When you hire an agent to get your home sold, you are going to pay them a percentage of the price that the home sells for. Generally, this ranges anywhere between 5 to 8%, with 6% usually being the standard norm. Now, there is no law or rule for this percentage. This is completely dependent upon the agent, and as I mentioned, a pretty standard rate is 6%. Now, that commission is split between the seller's agent and the buyer's agent. So you as the seller pay for both sides of the transaction. Your money is going towards advertising, photography, the cost of sending out your listing in the MLS system, which then puts it on sites like Zillow and Realtor, expert negotiations, and the list goes on and on and on. Sometimes you will see these big name companies offering to sell your house for a reduced commission. While this may feel like you are saving money because they are offering to do the job for less, you'll pay that cost of saving somewhere else. You're not typically going to have an agent who is going to advertise your home, get the word out, and negotiate the absolute very best on your behalf. So you as a seller, you have a choice. You can pay for the Ritz-Carlton experience, or you can pay for the Red Roof Inn experience. Tip number 2 that I like to tell sellers to keep in mind is that the current market you are selling in is also the same market you're buying in. It's not rocket science, but y'all, buyers get very shocked when they used to be sellers, but then they turn around and buy, and they're like, man, houses are expensive. And it's like, dude, you just sold your house for top dollar, and now you want to turn around and buy a house. We're still in the same market. You're still going to have to pay for that home. Obviously, many people are eager to sell their homes right now because the market is so hot, and you can make more money than ever on the sale of your home. But you have to keep in mind that you're going to be that person that's going to turn around and buy something else. It's going to cost you more now than it would a year ago. And this often comes up as a big shocker if you're looking to downsize. You might be surprised that it might cost you just as much to downsize as it would that you're selling your current home for. Economists predict that the increase in home prices is not going to dramatically lower in the next 5 years. So what this means for you as a seller is that you are going to face increasing prices over the next 5 years. So keep that in mind if you're thinking that you're going to time this just right and you're going to sell high and then turn around and buy low. That's not going to happen for at least another 5 years. One thing that is making it significantly easier to buy these days, though, is that despite the increase in prices, we have historically low interest rates. Right now, if you were going to purchase a $500,000 house with 20% down, you are looking at about an interest rate of 2.85%. That means that your monthly payment is going to be around $2,288 a month. This is not including any HOA fees. If you were buying that same home at $500,000, the same 20% down, and interest rates go up a whole percentage point to 2.85%, you're looking at a monthly payment of $2,509. That's a $281 difference per month. This equates to more than $3,372 per year. Now, that may not sound like much, but after 30 years, the standard term of a mortgage rate or a mortgage length, that is over $100,000. That is a huge amount of money that you're paying just for that small increase in a interest rate. So despite the fact that home prices have increased, these low rates are definitely offsetting these higher costs, and it's something to keep in mind when you're thinking about timing the market. Even though you're buying in the same market, you're taking advantage of those really low interest rates and you're getting them locked in. If you waited 3-5 years for home prices to come down a little bit, well, who knows what the interest rates are going to be then, and then you just kind of shot yourself in the foot. Okay, so my tip number 3 for those getting ready to sell their home is to keep in mind that even though we're in a seller's market, you still want to put your best foot forward when getting your home ready to sell. As crazy as things are right now, you might think that you may not need to go ahead and, clear out some of the clutter of your home or give that house a good deep cleaning. P.S. Wipe down your baseboards. It's often an overlooked thing, but it has such a huge impact whenever you are showing your home for sale. Make sure that you're maintaining the yard. Do any minor fixes that'll really add value to your house. People think, oh, it's so crazy out there right now. I can list my home right now exactly as it is, still sell it for top dollar and not do a thing. Odds are your home will still sell, but taking these steps to really get your home ready for the market is definitely going to help maximize its potential, which then maximizes your profit. You do want to make the most amount of money possible, right? Easy fixes like a new paint job and decluttering to make the home feel bigger can make a big difference for a small price. Now is also not the time to skip on marketing. Your real estate agent should have a professional photographer out taking pictures and video to best market your house. If you take a couple of crappy pictures on a phone and throw them up online, people aren't going to stop their scrolling to look at your blurry pictures, and that means they're never going to want to schedule a showing to see the house. If they don't see the house, they aren't going to buy it. If a professional photographer takes really amazing pictures that capture your attention and they shoot a video that highlights all the features of the house and the neighborhood, that is how you're going to get more people in the door. The more people that come in, the better chances are of receiving a fantastic offer. Now, this leads me to another point, which is even though sellers hold a lot of negotiating power in this market, you are still going to have to cooperate and work with buyers. Say, for instance, the HVAC in the house is completely shot. You as a seller are going to have to replace it or negotiate that replacement into the price of the house. After the buyer has done their home inspections and come to you with an amendment to address concerns and ask for repairs or monetary compensation for a big issue, you can't just say, oh no, I'm not going to do anything. We can just drop this contract and we'll take another. Unless perhaps an investor is buying the house, you are going to have to be flexible and fix major health and safety related issues. Any buyer is going to want these issues taken care of or money towards closing costs so that they can then fix the issue later. Buyers aren't being selfish or outlandish when they ask for these major repairs to be fixed. You have to be realistic. If you were staying in this home, would you have to fix this? If the answer is yes, then you as a seller need to be open-minded and reasonable to fixing these repairs. Just think about it. The market that you're selling in is the market that you're buying in. So whenever you go to buy a home, is that the attitude that you want to encounter? Some of these buyers have the attitude like, dude, I am paying you $15,000, $20,000 over asking price. I'm waiving the appraisal gap, and yet the air conditioning isn't cooling like it should. I want you to fix it. That's a reasonable expectation. They are paying a premium for your home. Now, this is to say, if you get an amendment that asks for a laundry list of things to repair, like silly things like caulking around a bathtub, weather stripping, let's see, what's another crazy one that I've had before? Oh, mulch. Those are crazy, silly things. That's not a reasonable expectation, but just keep in mind, put yourself in the shoes of the buyer and kind of see it from their perspective as you're evaluating those amendment to address concerns. The very last thing you'll want to keep in mind when selling your home is that the highest offer is not always the best offer. Let me repeat that. The highest offer is not always the best offer. Sometimes sellers will receive an all-cash offer from an investor, which always sounds like a great idea since it's all cash. But look closely at that contract. They may have a 14-day due diligence period. It may only be during business days, which then turns it into a 21-day due diligence period. And they may have provisions in there that they can back out for any reason whenever they want to. Let's say this happens on day 13 of their business day. Then you've lost time on the market and you've been off of the market for 20 days. Other potential buyers that would have loved to be in your house have already moved on and bought another home. You need to consider all available offers and compare them side by side and talk with the pros and cons. Do not just look at the top dollar that is offered. I'll give you a great example of a situation that I currently have buyers in right now, and let's hope that after the timing of filming this video, they've won this offer. But we were part of a multiple offer situation. My buyers were conventional. They put down 10% and they were up against an offer that had 100% financing, meaning the buyers were putting no money down. There was an 18-day financing contingency period where my buyers have a 0-day financing contingency period, meaning my lender has already fully vetted them and qualified them. They know that loan is going through. Now, all things equal, we're same in price, and maybe these other people might come up a little bit more, but everything being equal, my buyers are a much more safer bet for this seller. Another thing that you might want to consider as a seller is the timing of the closing. What is important to you? Right now, it's not uncommon to have people close on their house, but the seller wants to stay in the home for another 2 to 3 weeks while they line up their next move, or maybe they already have a move pending and they're trying to have time to move their stuff out of from one house into another. You need to consider that and think about that. If that buyer is willing to let you stay in the house for another week or so to give you that time to wrap up, that's really valuable time that sometimes you can put a monetary value on the ability to do that. Another time that the highest offer is not always the best, if there is any doubt whatsoever that the home is not going to appraise for the price that they offer and the buyer is unwilling to make up that difference. So we in the industry call this covering an appraisal gap. So let's say that you have your home listed at $300, there's a bidding war, you get this fantastic offer for $350, and then you also have an offer for $345. Well, you look through that contract for $350 and there is nothing in there that says what's going to happen if the home does not appraise for $350 and you've listed it at $300. That could potentially be a $50,000 gap. If the bank goes out, does the appraisal and says, oh, hey, great, this home appraised for $320. Well, you as a seller, the home was under contract for $350 and you're thinking, well, shoot, I want my $350. Well, unless that buyer has the cash difference to make up, $30,000 to make you whole, that contract is falling apart unless you're willing to sell it for $320. Whereas now let's take a look at that $345 potential offer. Let's say they did have an appraisal gap coverage in there. That buyer is saying, hey, we guarantee you that no matter what that home appraises for, you're getting your $345. I would put all my eggs in that basket before I would take that offer at $350. This is why it's important to have a really great agent. A great agent will help you compare each offer that you receive and will communicate with the buyer's agents and their lenders and will let you know and talk through the pros and cons of each offer and how it suits what's best for you and your family. Hopefully, if you're looking to sell or buy in Georgia, you will give my team a call. And if you're looking to sell elsewhere prior to moving to Georgia, reach out to me first. We have great relationships with agents all across the country, and I would love to connect you with someone that's just as great as we are.